I don't understand how to find the vibration or to get to a vibration on how to manifest the body that I want. And I've done it before. I've been there and I always lose it. And I don't understand. Like, I guess I get what I did last time. And when I was conscious of when I was losing weight and getting to where I wanted to, I was still very negative and not happy. And I feel much happier now, but I still want the thing that I want. And I'm just...
Yeah, you don't want to be happy. We're just teasing you.
Oh, I'm like, is that true?
We should never attempt sarcasm. It doesn't go over well. Not with bright, shiny people. The most important thing to realize is that it's a process of figuring it out for yourself. Esther had a conversation with someone just a couple of days ago, and Esther was talking about her desire for fairness. She was talking about it among the people in her world, this feeling of fairness or balance as far as it is coming from her. And then Esther said, finally, I don't know when it happened, but I finally come to the awareness, the sort of a gradual thing, that it's not my job to make everything between everybody fair. But I have discovered that I have to be in balance with whatever it is that I am doing. So all I have to do is figure out how to be balanced between me and me. Well, the thing that's interesting about things like your appearance, your body weight, anything that has to do with your physicality is that most of you have a whole lot of other opinions involved in that than just you and you. Yeah. In other words, when you said, I'm happy,
yeah,
the angels sang for a minute because that's all that is ever necessary in order for you to thrive. So you got to just be happy consistently. Let's start at another place. This is really what you're reaching for, but a little basis here will help you. So we believe that you create your own reality. We know that you get how it works. And we know that you are understanding that there is a vibrational basis and that you understand your emotional guidance system. So when there is a desire in place, and there is a strong desire, what's in your vortex is really pleasing to you in so many regards. The only thing you have to do is find more balance with that, which means don't look at or remember or talk to others about things that contradict that. Because the only thing that matters is you being in the receptive mode about that. So the easiest thing is to get off the subject that is more challenging and on subjects that do not challenge. Because the receptive mode is what you are wanting. How do you turn any vision or idea of what you want into a physical reality? Well, the thing that's hardest, especially as it regards your physical body, is that your physical body sort of goes most everywhere you go. And so you are aware of it. You are aware of how it sits and how it stands and how it moves and how it wears clothes and how it looks. But most of all, you're aware of how it is seen by those who are seeing it. That's the part that is the most crippling. It's too strong of a word, but it does really slow you down. Mm-hmm. So what we're wanting you to do is realize that your work is to make your gap all important and everything else far, 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 far less important. So an easy way to go about this is to focus on something else that is important to you, but that is already in vibrational alignment, something where it's easy for you to be in the receiving mode about it. And use that as your alignment. Getting into alignment, you know what we mean by that? Getting into alignment, being vibrationally up to speed with who you really are, feeling good, feeling frisky, letting your emotions move from being interested to being excited to being eager, to feeling passion, love, and appreciation. In other words, just moving around in that end of the emotional stick where you mostly feel good. That's what the receptive mode is. Let's put it this way, just in terms of the vibration being higher or lower. The better you feel, the more natural you are. The worse you feel, the more unnatural you are. And it doesn't matter what subject you're using as your excuse to not feel good. You've still got a subject that is being used by you. It's like a wheel that's spinning very fast, and then you put a crowbar in the spokes, it stops the wheel. That's what resistance is. Resistance is anything that is opposing to the higher frequency. It slows it down. So when you realize that your frequency is naturally high, and that unless you were doing that thing you do that is adding resistance to it, that is lowering it, it will be high. It's like the cork bobbing on the surface of the water. That's where you naturally are. You can hold the cork under the water, but when you let go of it, it's going to bob right back up there. So the key to being in the receptive mode is not holding the cork under the water, which means not focusing on those things that make you not feel good, which means an awareness of what makes you not feel good. You know, what makes you not feel good isn't just around this subject that you're working on. It's lots of other things. So you can't be in the receptive mode about one thing if you're not in the receptive mode because some other thing is bothering you. Okay. We've been offering this analogy for a long time, but you could have 10 subjects in your life. Of course, there are more, but let's say 10. And 9 of them could be going really well. And any one of those you could focus on, which would hold you up here in the receptive mode, which means you would be turning these thoughts to things really, really easily. But if there's one thing that is really bothering you, if you're like so many humans, you've got your nearly undivided attention on that one thing because you've got to find that problem, wrestle it to the ground, and kill it. And so you use that one thing that isn't going well as your reason to hold yourself out of the receptive mode. We're going to use that phrase a lot today because out of the receptive mode is the only problem you've got. That's the only problem you ever have is being out of the receptive mode. Because if you're in the receptive mode, then you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Then you're at the right place at the right time. Then things are unfolding easily for you. Then those thoughts are turning to things easily. Do you ever all of a sudden say, "Oh, I just got the best idea"? You were in the receptive mode until you thought about it for a minute. Realized it's impossible for you to do that thing. Hold the cork under the water. And so you could have 10 subjects and 9 of them really not doing well right now, and 1 of them doing fine. And you could focus upon that one, hold yourself in this receptive mode, and the other 9 would have to follow suit. So use anything and everything that you can to get yourself in the receptive mode. Have we convinced you that there is one? Do you know that there is a vibrational version of you that is just pulsing and thriving and presenting itself to you? But if you're over here looking at reality, then you're holding the frequency of what isn't, and what is wanting to become can't become because you've got the vibration of what isn't so rampant in your vibration. We think it is thrilling that a large number of people on this planet understand that. Understand that it is frequency and that it is emotional and that your emotions are your first, usually conscious realization or manifestation. We want to call your emotions a manifestation. Don't they feel real? Go to a scary movie. It feels real enough, doesn't it? You know that guy's not coming out of the bushes after you. But he might as well be because of the way you're feeling. In other words, you're having an emotion that is a reality. Now what?
Okay, I just have one last question, and this one was maybe the hardest to ask in front of people.
Wait a minute. Would you all leave? Oh, wait, that's not the path of least resistance. So you've got some choices. And we would think about this. We're not trying to guide you one way or another. Okay. So you have something that you want to talk about, but you don't want to talk about.
Yeah, and saying the question, it would make sense too. And I think that it's important.
But before you do, let's think about this for a little bit. So how do you find a path of least resistance? In other words, if there's something that you want to do, but you don't want to do, there's split energy in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
And so before you turn it into a reality, before you move forward on it, you want to prepare a vibrational basis for it.
Because, well, I've learned that when you talk about things, that
they get bigger.
Bigger or more clarity?
Well, both, but bigger. The problem gets bigger before the clarity comes. The problem gets bigger and attracts more of what is wanted, but the key is how fast can you get into the solution mode and out of the problem mode?
Yeah.
Because the vibration of a problem and the vibration of a solution are 2 very different frequencies.
So how do you do that when it's a direct interaction with another person?
What do you mean?
So part of the thing I'm having an issue with is it directly involves somebody else.
But this is the thing that we were wanting to point out to you earlier. Even though something directly involves somebody else, they are really irrelevant.
Yeah.
The only thing that is relevant is where you are and your desire. That's what's relevant.
So then how do I get past the place where I feel completely frozen, stuck, of allowing?
We're happy to talk with you about whatever it is you want to talk about here. But the specific answer to that question is you thaw out a little bit at a time. And what we just gave to you earlier about taking the 9 subjects that are working and use them as your reason to be in alignment. Here's the thing that you might not be remembering. It's a common thing that people forget. You've already asked the question. Life has already caused you to ask for what you want. Mm-hmm. And Source has already answered it. So the solution has already assembled and is ripe for your receiving of it. Mm-hmm. But you've got to get into that receiving mode in order to hear it. Mm-hmm. And so the only thing that matters is being in the receiving mode, because it's already been asked and answered. You've just got to get into the receiving mode. And so the specific answer to your question is whatever it takes for you to feel better, even if it means avoid that situation for a little while. In other words, you're sort of doing what we were saying earlier. You're taking that one thing and you're giving it so much attention. And in giving it so much attention, you're holding yourself out of vibrational alignment and then struggling with all of that when we just explained to you not to do that.
It's really funny because I believe that so much. And so I really focus on just being happy and finding the things that make me happy and then focusing on those. And I really tried to, like, when I'm sitting in the car, I'm noticing my body. It's just, I can just feel it. And I'm just like, okay, get that out of there. What am I happy about? You know, because I don't know how to change it otherwise.
You know what happens when your inner being notices your body? First of all, when your inner being notices anything, get out somewhere today. Have you seen this day out there? So when your inner being looks out at the horizon, feel what it feels like when your inner being appreciates something. And if you want to know what it feels like when your inner being appreciates something, you find something to appreciate and stay focused on it long enough that you allow your receptive mode to fully allow source energy to flow through you in this moment. So that's how your inner being feels when it focuses. And so if you're in the car looking at your body and feeling unhappy with yourself for some reason, you're out there on the raw and ragged edge without your inner being, because your inner being does not feel that way.
Well,
That's the thing that we want you to understand. We want it to not be about your body. We want it to be about your receptive mode. Mm-hmm. We want it to not be about your body. We want it to be about your alignment with source energy. We want it to not be about your body. We want it to be about you being a vessel that is vibrationally in sync with source energy and is allowing source energy to flow through you. We are not wanting to use the word opinion because that is sort of a word that you don't like very much. But your inner being has a perspective, has a point of view, has an opinion about everything. And it is a point of view of strength and power and clarity and love and appreciation. Mm-hmm. So when you train yourself into vibrational alignment with that, then you begin to feel that way. That's what empowerment is. That's what upliftment is. That's what true alignment is. That's what true mastery is. It's being in vibrational sync with who you are and not letting anything be important enough that it get between you and your alignment. Nothing matters more than your alignment. Nothing matters more. Nothing matters more. Nothing matters more. Nothing matters more than my alignment. Nothing matters more. Nothing matters more. So you're looking at yourself and sort of not happy with what you see and thinking about somebody else, looking at somebody who's sort of trained you with a critical eye, not liking what they see. And we say, really, you're going to choose that perspective over the perspective of source? You're going to choose that disempowering perspective over the perspective of source? And here's the thing. A lot of times people hear us rant like this because we get pretty wound up. And they think that what we're trying to do is try to get you to just accept yourself as things are and just be an allower of the status quo. And that is not what we are getting at all. We're wanting your alignment to be what matters, understanding that in alignment, everything else that you want will fall into place.